Hello, this is Paul, and welcome to the second part of this lesson with Unit 3. Now, we've been talking about the mouse, and the mouse is a very necessary tool for most of us. As a new person in the computer, I'm sure that the mouse will provide you with the easiest ability to move around with Windows. Just to review about what this is about, I would like to remind you that when I say click, it is a click on the left button of the mouse. If I say a double click, that means a quick 2 clicks on the left button of the mouse in very quick succession. Now, when I say right click, there will be the only time that you use the right button on the mouse. This means that it will bring up a menu and be able to make a selection with the left click of the mouse. Now, very often you might find sub-menus that will also open up and have greater number of selections to choose from. However, this is what we discussed in the first part, and we're ready to move on. I would like to remind you that we were talking about special effects that can be applied to the mouse as you use it, and there are different formats or different schemes that you can choose to get the appearance that will be most enjoyable to you. Remember, I did tell you that you can download some special effects for a mouse according to your area of interest, whether if it be sports or into faith. So there is a lot to be experienced on this as you open up to different opportunities. We left off in part 1 on this, talking about the special effects that can be applied to the mouse pointer and the symbols that it represents and what we can see how they operate. Remember how we went to the Start menu? Once we went to the Start menu, we made a selection to go into the Control panel, and after that we went into the screen. We're able to set the different effects that are available. We have covered this screen pretty well, and in this window we were able to experience that we could adjust the actions of our mouse to make it able to accept a double click to our speed and be able to activate or deactivate a click lock utility. Now take notice on top of this window there is a series of tabs going across there. Think of this as tabs similar to bookmarkers on the side of any typical book that gives a quick reference from one chapter to another. Well, we're going to move on with this session by selecting the tab that says pointers. So if you put your mouse on top of the word pointers with a single left click, you will be able to open that and see the adjustments that can be made. With this window open, we can see that we got 3 sections blocked off, and let's talk about the top one first. Now, if you're into a program to draw something that you want to do a lot of detail, you can slow the pointer down for that precision. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about. One computer might be set to have the pointer working very fast, or another one will have it set to be very slow. That means that on a general operation, you'll want to get from one part of the screen to the other very quickly and be able to make your selections very easily. However, in the case of drawing, you might want to slow it down that it would take much more movement of your hand to get from one side to the other. In doing this, you'll be able to do very small, fine detail, and I have seen so many people do so much terrific work far beyond my ability. Next, we have in the center a snap to portion, and I'm in the habit of turning that on. By default, it is off, but what happens is when a box will open up, for example, you close a program and up comes a box. Do you want to save it? And there is a selection box to click on. However, your mouse could be anywhere on the screen, and it's inconvenient for me to look where it's at and bring it to the location for the response of that box. By the way, when a box like that comes up, it does demand an answer before your computer will move on. So I have this checkbox on so that when such a window comes up, I will be in place to make that selection much easier. On the bottom portion, there is a place where we can increase the capability to have our mouse move around with a trail like a comet. This is very entertaining, and some people like it, some people might not. You can turn this on or off as you wish. Under that, there is a slide bar that is in a grayed out area, and when you select that box, it will become dark. Now you'll be able to adjust the length of the trail for that to take place. Next one down is to be able to hide your pointer while typing. This is especially useful in a word processing program that you don't want the pointer setting in front of your sight. And once you move your mouse, that pointer will come back to visibility. It is never lost. Now the bottom one has to activate like a sonar type device, that if you want to see where your pointer is, that you just press down the control key and release it, and this sonar type device will center into where the location of your pointer is. Looking back to the top of this window, you'll go back to these tabs and click on the next item, and it will take you to what is the wheel, how it works on your mouse, if you have a wheel. If you don't have a wheel, this will not be there. Now, the provision of this wheel traditionally moves 3 lines at a time when you're on the web, that when you move this wheel, there is a click that will be in place to make these jumps, so to speak. You can adjust this by moving that wheel up and down and being able to adjust how many lines it's going to move at a time for each click on your mouse's wheel. Now, remind you that this is for each click that you make on that mouse button. So if you want it to move quicker and cover more lines at a time, you can increase this number to any size you want. But also take notice that there is a checkbox down there that will enable you to make a screen at a time for each click. Now this applies not only to the web, but every program that you use the mouse in. And you'll be able to also use other directives to be able to move the screen up and down one line at a time, but basically the click of the wheel will move it this number of times as you choose it to be fit. Going to the top of the panel again and selecting the tab that says hardware, we will be able to see what is installed in the computer with the proper driver for your mouse to operate. As we have spoken to class before, it takes a driver for everything to operate properly in your computer. Everything is designed to be in binary code so that the CPU or the central processor will be able to understand what is supposed to happen. So with this driver properly installed, we know that it has the proper settings for it to work. Once you have decided that you made all the changes that you want on this, you'll have to press the apply button that will make everything that you selected take place. Now remember, this is a left click that you press over the apply button, and if you have already changed it around for a left-handed person, that would be a right button to make the same selection. This pretty much covers the settings for the mouse to get it to operate the way it would be much more pleasurable for you. Remember, if your dexterity is different than others, it can be adjusted to make that accommodation. So play around with it. If it's not comfortable, you can always change it again. Just follow the procedures that I have already given you. This does complete how the mouse is set up, and we're going to go back in the next segment to be able to see more about the control panel and how that has two different views and what it's for. Also, we're going to see some information about what type of system we have and be able to identify it anytime we have technical support looking for certain information. So, I hope to see you in the next segment.